Welcome back today to GT Power Sports, powered by Good Times. So we are working on, me and Joey kind of made a deal. Let's go into a little backstory. We made a deal on a Chrysler 300 Hemi that I had. He had some Hellcat wheels, and we made a deal to cut out my debt for the wheels because I still owed him on it, to work on 5 race bikes. Now, I am finishing up, I didn't record, but I am finishing up this TRX450. So this is an 06 TRX450. Well, like everything we work on, it needed some work. So I started to play around with it and figure out why it was. So we ended up not having fire in it, and the ECU ended up being burnt. We always have issues with the big gun ECUs. Not just this bike, but also too the Polaris Predator. We had an issue with the big gun ECU giving out. So we got the ECU changed, and it ended up being as well as the ignition pickup. So we got that instead of they tied in together. We got those changed. Bike created spark again. Then we started having carb issues, so I went ahead and got that resolved. What we ended up having with his carburetor, so he actually had a cheap carburetor. It was a knockoff brand. We ended up going on the bike because it was ready to go. So his Honda carburetor, it is not a bad carburetor, but what ended up happening, whoever worked on it before put the wrong needle seat in there. So the needle seat, so this is your carburetor, and your needle seat sits right here, which is this doohickey right here. Well, what happened with this one is his was the right height, but the thickness around was wrong. So if the thickness around is wrong, then the needle has some leeway to give, and it won't seat exactly inside the hole, and your carburetor will just overfill with gas. So what I ended up doing is finding out that his other one fit, but the length of it was just too long. So instead of dealing with it, I went ahead and put that carburetor on, and we left the other one alone. We're just gonna buy a rebuild kit for this one, and then go ahead and put this one back on it once all that comes in. We just want to run and ride the bike, see how she does, like it is. So that's where we're at in that, and let's see, because I've been waiting for the battery to charge, see if the battery takes charge, and we can try to get it to run. I wouldn't say it'd be a tech tip, but I would say it'd be something, I guess, maybe you could call it a tech tip. Whenever you're taking these batteries out with these loose connections inside of it for ATVs, they tend to get lost if you don't put the thread back in it, the screw back in it. They tend to fall out. So what I like to do is every time I take a battery off, make sure you put that screw back in it, because so you don't lose that little thing inside of it. I don't know if you can see it, but right there. Moment of truth. So last time I couldn't get the battery. I charged the battery. That's that nosy thing in the background right now. I charged the battery, and I couldn't get it to over 11, I think 10 or 11 volts. So I charged it again last night to see what it does. So moment of truth. Still not right. So this is what I'm gonna go into. One of our favorite, besides our lights, I'm gonna show you our lights, but one of our favorite things in the shop by far, because we deal with so much little things, is this jump box made. I don't know who makes it for Matco, but I'll tell you now, it is the best investment, one of the best investments that we've done, besides our Milwaukee tools. Milwaukee, shout out to you. You make a really, really great product. And then my little bitty impact, wherever she's at, for building motors, setting them a tool, you can just ram them in there. And I think when you ram them in, it's only like 3-4 foot-pounds, so it does perfect. You can ram them in there. You ain't gotta worry about snapping bolts, ruining threads, over torquing. You can just ram them in there, not have to worry about being soft with it, and then come back with a torque wrench. But this right here is the Matco's jump box. Matco makes this jump box, and I want to say they in the 200s. I'm not too sure. We bought it directly off the truck. It is a Versa Pro 3, so it is a little over $200. You get these as well. The only aggravating part we have with it, I wish there was a reset where, because so let's put an example. If I go to start this bike with it on there, this has a light on it. It turns it's green whenever you can tell that it has power on it, so it turns green. When you turn green, there's a little bitty button right here. Once you get one, you better see what I'm talking about. You hit that button, and then you see everything light up on the bike. That's when you know you put power to it. So whenever you start the bike, this thing right here will trip, so it doesn't damage anything on the bike, and it doesn't damage anything on the jump box, and then it'll blink red and green, red and green, red and green. But sometimes whenever you're going to crank something, it'll actually trip itself. So especially when it's dying, and then you got to take it off, let it reset itself, and then plug it back in. That's the only irritating part when you're trying to troubleshoot something and it has a bad battery on it. So other than that, it is great. So I was riding it, I was having fun with it. I come off from that side of the shop, going this side of the shop. I got this puddle that I wanted to slam brakes and drift through the fence and on the side of the puddle. And they had some barbed wire from when we did the fence. Called my accident, stalled me out. So I had to walk all the way back to the shop and grab the jump box because the battery still ain't no good. But yeah, this is where I'm at. Well, she runs pretty good. Her clutch engagement, let me turn it off. Clutch engagement needs to be dialed down, like so. As far as that, she's a solid riding bike. I enjoyed it. I was drifting shit out of it in the field. I'm gonna go ahead and park this one. I might play with that a little bit, but she needs a battery. I don't want to keep having a run full of jump box every time I want to start it. So starting on the next one. This is another one by Joey that I have to work in the deal. There's a few of them. Now, 2 of the bikes out of the 5 I ended up with. So it's kind of crazy. I made a deal to work on the bikes for the rims that I owed debt on, but me and him ended up making some deals happen. I ended up with 2 of the bikes. He ended up with the car with the rims. So he has the rims now that I'm paying off my debt. So now I kind of just circled all back. But so just like Roadkill Garage, I love the show. Like their workbench is always cluttered, mine is too. So this is the one I was demonstrating earlier, was actually the YFZ's carburetor. They're about the same concept, just a few design differences. So see, this is the bowl of the carburetor. This is the gasket that seals the bowl to the carburetor itself. Well, this one right here, whoever worked on it previously, they moved, this gasket was actually smashed right here and right here. Granted, I was able to cut away the smash parts, get it to work, but when I took it off this last time, these old gaskets, especially when gas or anything like hits them when they old, they actually stretch them. So this gasket is actually stretched, but he has his other one sitting right there that I was supposed to work on, so that one's on hold because this one's going up for sale. So I am going to take its bowl off of that one and go directly on this carburetor with it and put it on a bike, and hopefully the bike runs. So how I brought up over there that the gasket was bad, so this is the one that was flat. You can kind of make out how there's nothing to it, nothing sticking up, nothing giving that seal. So this is a healthy seal. So I don't know if you can make it out from there, but you see that little upriser there. Whenever it hits against, you know, it has that little bit of space, and it actually smashes itself, creating that seal on the bowl to where nothing could come in, nothing could go out. So this one right here is on its last leg. We're gonna see if it's gonna work, because that's what we have at the moment. Unfortunately, these two, it'd be nice if these two were the same thing, but they're not. So I'm actually looking, because one's a Honda, one's a Yamaha. They actually look like they're close to the same thing. Let's see what we can do. So we got some old trusted gas that we took out of old bikes, the nasty gas that sat in the tanks forever. I'm gonna use this because I believe that the tank has some trash in it, and that's what clogged the carburetor. That's what made the bike kind of go not run right. So I'm gonna use this to flush out this. I'm gonna slosh around. I'm gonna do that probably 2-3 times, and hopefully we good. I'm gonna put it on a bike and then run it after that. So I'm gonna go ahead. I got the jump box on it because I left the key on. So let's turn the key on. Jump box on. Where's the button? There she is. So let me get my key. Remember what I was telling you earlier? Let me get my key. Woo. Let's see. Put the choke. So couldn't get it started. Ended up being watered down gas. So I let the bowl drain a little bit, and I smelt it, It has a very funky smell to it, so I believe that it's just watered down. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it drained out. It'd probably be a tomorrow or this week type of thing. But until next time, I want to thank you for watching. Welcome to Good Times.
The sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, 'cause I'll go where you go.